Let's talk about something a bit more interesting today. This topic has been addressed by a lot of people, but I'm going to be addressing it from the perspective of an HR executive and helping you leverage the knowledge to get career guidance, career clarity. Like I said, this topic is very important as the air. Yes, as important as the air that you breathe. As a matter of fact, our existence here on earth becomes very frustrating without necessarily addressing this issue. That's how important today's topic is. Before we go deep into the Mentor Me for Success program, it is very important to know who you are. So today's topic is Know Thyself. Yes. I know you might want to say, but if you don't care, why is it important that I know myself? Or why is it important to know oneself? One of the greatest men that ever lived says, and I quote, to know oneself is the beginning of wisdom. So back to the question, why is it important to know oneself? Happiness, yes. You will truly be happy if you know your strength, your weaknesses, your potentials, the opportunities that are open to somebody that has your potentials. And you know that with just a little more push, or with a little push, you can achieve much more than you currently are achieving right now. You would truly be happy. If you ask me if I knew who I was when I graduated fresh out of the university, or what I wanted to do in my life, I would say honestly I had no clue. I was very afraid of the future, but I was lucky enough to find myself in HR, and for the past 15 years I've built a thriving career in HR. But I was lucky. I was lucky to find myself in HR, and I will forever be indebted, I'll forever be grateful to every single one that helped me on my career path. But these days, the jobs are far in between. And that's why a knowledge of who you are will help you identify the opportunities that are out there. And I will help you. I will help you understand who you are so that you can identify the opportunities and the jobs that still exist out there. So follow me. So let me start by telling you the story of a certain young man who was so certain he wanted to build a career in HR but didn't know anyone that will help him facilitate the process. So he joined some HR communities and saw the idea of helping them warehouse and monetize their content based on his content marketing skills. He championed the process and he did it successfully. And that was how HR managers on the group identified him to be a very resourceful person. He leveraged that particular project to open up doors of opportunities for himself, and he got himself a job. Getting a job these days might be very difficult. Organizations might not be recruiting. There might not be jobs, but there will always be opportunities. Yes, I say that again. There might not be jobs, but there will always be opportunities. But your ability to identify who you are and develop yourself will enable you identify those opportunities that exist and take advantage of them. In the case of the guy that saw the idea of warehousing and monetizing the content, it was because he had content marketing skills. That was why he was able to identify the opportunities that exist. So there might not always be jobs, but there will always be opportunities. But your ability to identify those opportunities will be dependent on how well you have identified and developed yourself. So back to the question, how do you discover who you are? Knowing yourself, or someone telling you to know yourself, might sound a bit strange. After all, you've lived it yourself for this long. So how will somebody tell you to know yourself? But knowing yourself is beyond knowing your favorite color, music, food, or best subjects in school. Knowing yourself is about identifying your strengths, your weaknesses, what motivates you, what drives you. Knowing yourself is about knowing your tolerance level and your limitation. It's about knowing the skills you possess and how those skills can open up doors of opportunities for you. One of the easiest ways, or some of the easiest ways to identify who you are, is to put yourself more out there, acquire more skills. And when I say more skills, I mean more hard skills. Soft skills are good, but pay attention to hard skills these days. Acquire more skills, collaborate, network. It is possible you are the greatest cinematographer that will ever live in this generation, but if you've never handled the camera before, you will never know. So don't be afraid to try, especially since most of you are still in school. During your holidays, try your hands on a lot of things as long as they are legal. Do not be afraid to get dirty. I say as long as they are legal. Try your hands on a lot of things. Volunteer on projects, join groups, educational groups, professional groups. Join a lot of groups and network, collaborate. Volunteer to execute some projects for people, especially people that are already ahead of you and have years of experience. Volunteer to work with them for free. In doing all of this, you will get to discover who you are. You will get to discover new skills. You will get to acquire more skills. And in doing all of those things, you will learn to identify all the opportunities that are all around you. And don't be discouraged when you try your hands on a lot of things and nothing seems to be working right now. You are a work in progress. Success is actually a journey. You will look back one day and realize why you had to make those errors. You will leverage those errors, those mistakes, for greater things later in the future. If you ask me myself, Iburanke Ogumade, I would say that I've tried my hands on a lot of things, from social media marketing, content marketing, Google Analytics, affiliate marketing, HR, all sorts of things. If you ask me if the journey has been worth it or if the journey has been easy, I would say definitely not, but it has been worth it. And all of this has helped me to gain more insight into who Ibironke Ogumade is. And I'm still a work in progress. Yes, I'm still a work in progress. And so I implore all of you to put yourself more out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to experiment. Like I said, you are still in school, so you still have ample time to make a lot of errors. On this note, I've come to the end of this episode, and like I always say, keep pushing until you get what you want and keep learning until you get your desired result. This is Veronica Ogumade signing out.